I think wokeism has evolved into something meaningless. And so what the problem is, there are a lot of more philosophically mature individuals who can look at the literature, look at the Frankfurt School, look at critical race theory's origins, Kimberly Crenshaw, Derek Bell, et cetera, and the things they've said, and try to make sense of it. The problem is, while these things may have been contributing factors to what wokeism has become, wokeism is more akin to a fire. It is reckless, it is wild, it spreads, it consumes and destroys. And if you take a look at a lot of the big cancel culture moments of the past decade, they actually don't align towards any ideology. So my favorite example of the contradictions of the woke are when there was a women's organization that tweeted the word Wimixin.
Oh, yes, I remember. So, by the way, so did Elizabeth Warren. That's the moment when I thought, oh my, like Elizabeth Warren sets herself up as this great intellectual, policy person. And then what is she doing? Just total pandering, madness.
So this organization tweets the word WOMXN.
Yeah, I remember that. It's like...
Adherents of wokeism, though, said that's offensive. How dare you create a different word that implies trans women are not women? And so now you simultaneously have the word woman being non-inclusive and being inclusive, and Wimixin being both simultaneously not exclusive and inclusive. There is no appropriate thing you can say that can be determined to be acceptable to woke other than to drop to your knees and adhere to the power structures. There's no moral framework. There's no logic guiding their principles. It is just, we win, period. It is more like a swarm of wasps than any functioning ideology. Yeah. And again, I'll stress, when we look at the Frankfurt School and we look at, Weimar Germany and Antifa and the anti-fascist, protection rampart, the Berlin Wall, and all of the history that leads today, smart people, mathematically oriented people are trying to calculate and analyze, and they're missing what's really going on. A chaotic, destructive force that will say and do anything to win.
I think I agree with that, and I think that the other bit I'd add to it is the way that so many institutions have been co-opted into it in a totally superficial way. And particularly if you think about corporate America, I think that's a really great example where the way that this has spread like wildfire, your analogy is a good one, through corporate America. And they suddenly kind of announced we're going to have their training sessions and Robin DiAngelo's the set text and all this kind of stuff. They haven't thought about it. Those, the HR departments and they haven't sort of bothered to read. It's just like, oh, this, we better do this because everyone's going on about it and our employees are going to, and we've got this vocal minority of our employees who are saying, why aren't we doing our training or whatever it may be, or social media, a few vocal people. And so they're all going for it without even giving it a moment's thought. It's totally superficial. And that's why the virtue signaling, I think, is just such a big part of it.
It's meaningless. It's just, are you in line with the cult or not? And if you're a part of the cult,
right.
then...
Yes. Exactly.
The swarm will attack.
I think a lot of this chaos is deliberate. The first thing that comes to mind is the famous saying, order out of chaos. And when you look at a lot of very prominent elites, whether it's Ted Turner, Henry Kissinger, Rockefeller, they're the ones that were very instrumental in opening up China to the world and cheering on what was happening during the Cultural Revolution and their population control efforts. And you see a lot of these very powerful individuals also now call for the Great Reset to build back better and implement similar policies that essentially are creating the Western world into being this kind of Orwellian Chinese social credit score system that I think that they've been trying to do here. And I think one way that they will be successful in doing that is by dividing and conquering, having people fight each other on trivial differences, on absolute nonsense, as they get away with pulling off this great reset as everyone is chaotic and fighting each other.
Can you just talk about? I've heard that phrase, and I don't really know what do you mean by it?
Which phrase?
The Great Reset. I know. Is that what is that?
Well, that's a phrase used by many powerful individuals, especially within the World Economic Forum, by individuals like Klaus Schwab. There's a lot of corporate heads. There's a lot of billionaires. There's, even the Pope came out, said that he's making a corporate coalition of people in industry that will put on the Great Reset. The World Economic Forum described it as people owning nothing, having no privacy, and being happier than ever. And this is, of course...
Oh, so it's their phrase.
Yes.
The Davos.
And then you see many prominent politicians say we need to implement the Great Reset. We're here to build back better. Biden's policy, his, quote, infrastructure bill, is literally called the Build Back Better plan, where he talks about printing trillions of dollars and spending it on equity efforts and other social climate issues that, of course, are the absolute opposite of what they pretend to be.
So Klaus Schwab, I wanted to... Anyway, go on.
I'll give you the simple version.
I just get very excited every time I see the world at Davos. Anyway.
Here's a simple version. We have right here this website, worldeconomicforum.org/great-reset.
Yeah.
This is something on their website. It's not
it's amazing.
The media.
That's why
the media has tried covering it up, claiming it was a conspiracy theory. The gist of it is, so I'll tell you, they put out a video. It said, "You will own nothing and you will be happy by 2030." They wrote an article where they said, like, your living room will be used for business meetings when you're not around. You won't own things. You'll just use things that are available to you. You'll have no home or bedroom. People will come and use your stuff as however they see fit. What they're ultimately trying to say is
What does it say there? Global, what is it? Stakeholders to
global stakeholder. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of the COVID-19 crisis. To improve the state of the World Economic Forum is starting the Great Reset Initiative. Yeah. You will own nothing.
Where are you getting that from?
This is the World Economic Forum.
No. You will own nothing. What's that about?
So that's a video they produced and ultimately deleted that said. The famous line from it, put it on Twitter.
You will own nothing.
You will own nothing.
Was that an
and you will be
opinion
happy.
from one of their people?
Yes.
Was their corporate view?
It's their official view. It was an official World Economic Forum statement that was put out. So that you take a look at what Joe Biden has been doing. He wants to shut down another oil pipeline. He shuts down Keystone. He bans fracking. With the crisis at the ports, with the crisis of inflation, with the constant lies from the media. First they said there's no inflation. Then they said there's some inflation, it's not a big deal.
It's transitory.
It's transitory. Yeah. Then they said it's going to end. Now they're saying it's here to stay. Now they're saying inflation's actually a good thing. So what's happening is all across the board, there's a labor shortage, there's a product shortage, there's an energy crisis in the U.S. And I got to tell you, it may be conspiratorial. But when they come out and say, build back better is the slogan of their project in the Great Reset, and then Joe Biden says, we're going to build back better, and this is the Build Back Better bill, isn't it more absurd? Wouldn't Occam's razor suggest that to deny they're actively trying to destroy the economy would be the conspiracy?
No, I don't think that. I think that, I want to be fair to what I think they mean, which is, and actually I suspect underlies this, even though I can't stand Davos. He tried to sue me because I wrote some piece about him being totally corrupt, which he is.
He is, yeah.
And I've had first-hand experience of it in terms of how they approach participants in the conference, and how he's siphoned off the money. And I put it in a newspaper article, which I think the headline was something like, attending Davos should be as shameful as running a sweatshop or something, whatever. Anyway, he went nuts and the whole thing. But then with the Build Back, so I'm very happy to have a go at Davos any moment of any day. With the Build Back Better, I think what they're getting at, I think, and I would say not all of this is crazy, is to say that what you've seen as a result of the pandemic is all sorts of things that are broken about how we organize the economy and society that actually we could do with fixing. One really obvious example of that, I think, is our dependence on China. The fact that so many of the pharmaceuticals are made in China and so on. I think that that's a great example of something that the pandemic has revealed to everyone. I mean, I've been making that argument for a long time. In my first book, I argued for decoupling from China.
Except now what Joe Biden's policies
are
I'm
not saying he's doing the right thing.
It's actually bolstering and emboldening China.
But let's just try and be fair. So I think that's an example it sounds like we would agree about, okay? They would say, another example is the kind of precariousness of people's working lives, and therefore we need to do things that will help and that's a lot of the driving force behind some of the stuff in the spending bill. But and even there, I'd agree with some of that. But I'm just saying it's not the job of the federal government to do it.
Yeah.
You should be doing it at the state level or the local level, whatever. But I don't think that I don't know. What do you think that
they're the ones that created their dependency on China? They're the ones that are creating the modern problems in this world. So for the people to come and create the problem.
By the way, literally, they're the people. Like the guy Steve Ricchetti, who is the senior, whatever he's called, senior advisor, I think is his title, in in Biden's team. He's the number one guy, right?
Yeah.
He's been involved in putting all these bills together. He was there. He was the guy who orchestrated under the Clinton administration China's entry into the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
And he's totally corrupt. I mean, his brother's running a lobbying firm. Have you talked about all this? I don't know, on the show. I don't know. He's literally, his brother's running a lobbying firm whose kind of clients have sort of spectacularly increased just in the last few months. Surprise, surprise, because his brother's right there in the White House with Biden.
So you have the people causing the problem offering up the only solution.
Yeah.
So when people are suffering because they can't find work, they can't make enough money because of inflation, they're struggling with shortages across the board. These are all problems created by the federal government.
And then they want to make you more dependent on them.
And now they're coming out saying, here's the solution to all those problems.
I agree with that.
Problem, reaction, solution is something that people talk about a lot. It's the same people who created it, the same people who are coming in with a solution, and the solution benefits them even that much greatly. I mean, if you look at what they're doing, right, in the name of helping people, they're limiting people's ability to travel. They're limiting people's ability to earn money. They're limiting people's ability to have a family, to have a happy, productive life. And what they're doing is we literally have witnessed one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history during the lockdowns, which helped out the billionaire class and screwed everyone else over. And then we are seeing people's wealth literally be eviscerated, robbed right in front of them, as billionaires have made off with the most amount of money almost in all of recorded human history. We're talking about trillions of dollars being transferred from poor, middle-class people going to, of course, the Schwabs, the Bezos, the Gateses, and all these other individuals that are living by a different set of rules that get to do whatever they want as they tell you that you are living beyond your means as they're flying around in their private jets on their beachfront properties saying, I know what's right for you. I need more power. I need more money. I will tell you exactly how to live your life. And I refuse to be a slave or peasant under that kind of system, because that's exactly the system that they want. They want you eating bugs. Yeah. They want you in a pod. They want you as a little unhealthy, fat, depressed ninny. And I refuse to live like that.
The best part is when these same people who there's two big ones, obviously, when they fly in private jets to climate summits, but when they say the water levels are rising and then buy beachfront property. Yes. I think climate change is a big problem. I think humans are absolutely contributing to a lot of ecological collapse. Yes. But how am I supposed to support, you know what I think? I genuinely believe they use the urgency of ecological disaster, things we can see and measure, like the windshield phenomenon, bug populations, colony collapse disorder, to scare people into giving up their power so they can buy beachfront property, so they can get private jets.
So but they're the ones causing the ecological disasters. They're the ones. The military-industrial complex is one of the biggest polluters in the world. We haven't even had that discussion yet. The corporations in China,
they're the elites on the Titanic, and they're stealing the fine china and then jumping in a lifeboat before anyone knows what's happening. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Now, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.